Rayas. So today we are going to talk about the past week current affairs. The first current affair that we are going to deal with is NetGrid. NetGrid also stands for National Intelligence Grid. Now this particular topic has been in news for a very long time. And this topic is related to the internal security of a country, which makes it really important. Now, why is it currently in news? Because Prime Minister of a country, Mr. Narendra Modi, is soon expected to launch the grid, and the aim of NetGrid is to provide a cutting edge technology that will enhance India's counter terror capabilities. Now, let's study some fact about NetGrid. It's an integrated intelligence grid. What do you mean by integrated? Integrated means when 2, 3, 4 parties come together as an integrated work. They provide an integrated collective work. Okay. Collecting database of core security agencies of the Government of India. Now, what are core security agencies of Government of India? They include RAW, IB, NIA. It collects comprehensive pattern of intelligence that can be readily accessed by intelligence agencies. Now, whatever the information will be present on NetGrid, no, they'll be readily accessed. They'll be available to the intelligence agencies of a country. But remember that the information present on NetGrid won't be available to the civilian population of a country. Now, NetGrid is an intelligence sharing network that collates data from standalone database of various agencies and ministries of the Indian government. Now, here we are talking about from where this NetGrid will collect information. This will collect information from the various ministries and various agencies that are operating in the Indian government. It will collect information from the bank account details of suspicious people, the tax details, the credit and debit card transactions that are really suspicious, and visa and immigration records. They are really important. Why they are important, we are going to discuss now, because let's come to the history of NetGrid, of how the idea of NetGrid was mooted. Now, if you remember 26/11 attacks, इन्हें हम हिंदी में 26/11 अटैक भी कहते हैं, they happened in Mumbai. Now, when these attacks happened, no, it actually opened the eyes of Indian government of how weak our information, our intelligence agencies are at that point of time, because the main culprit, the main who programmed the attacks, a Pakistani origin American Lashkar-e-Taiba operative, David Coleman Headley. He visited India several times before the attack, and he visited the places where these attacks happened, and even he was traveling from India to Pakistan to the West Asia. His trips really, the Indian agencies could not raise suspicion on his visit to India. If our country, the intelligence agencies of a country were strong enough, then this devastating incident could have been stopped. It could have been prevented, but it led to a disaster, a complete disaster. So this is the reason why the idea of NetGrid emerged. Okay, now this was all about NetGrid. The second thing that we are going to discuss today is saline gargle RT-PCR technology. Now, Nagpur-based National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, in short we call it NEERI. NEERI is under CSIR. Remember it. It's not under Ministry of Science and Technology. I've seen children committing this mistake in the test series. It's CSIR. Okay, has transferred the know-how of indigenously developed. Now remember that saline gargle RT-PCR technology, it's indigenously developed. Means it is developed within our country. Okay, now NEERI has transferred this developed technology to the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. For what reason? For commercializing it. What do you mean by commercializing? Commercializing means for monetary benefits, for earning monetary benefits. Okay, they will be readily available in the market. Who wants to have this RT-PCR saline gargle RT-PCR technique, they'll be available at a cost. Okay, now saline gargle RT-PCR method uses a simple collection tube filled with saline solution. Now what happened in it is, as the name says, saline gargle means there's a saline solution and the patient has to gargle the solution, and when the patient is done gargling the solution, they will have to rinse it in a tube. Okay, now the sample that is collected will be taken to a laboratory and it will be kept at a room temperature for about 30 minutes, और ये रखा जाएगा एक बफर सोल्यूशन में. वो बफर सोल्यूशन आपकी नीरी ने ही डिज़ाइन किया है. ओके, आफ्टर दैट व्हाट विल हैपन दैट दिस सोल्यूशन विल बी हीटेड. इसे गर्म किया जाएगा एंड and it will be processed for the basic RT-PCR method that we have discussed about COVID, about detecting COVID, coronavirus. Okay, now what are the advantages of this saline gargle RT-PCR technology? इट इज़ सिंपल, फास्ट, सस्ता है, कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव है, मतलब पेशेंट फ्रेंडली है. जिन लोग को एवर्शन है बहुत ज़्यादा कि उनके बेसिक RT-PCR टेस्ट वगैरह से वो इसे यूज़ कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज ऑल दे हैव टू डू इज़ गार्गल एंड इट्स रियली कंफर्टेबल. इट ऑल्सो प्रोवाइड इंस्टेंट रिजल्ट, मतलब 1-2 घंटे में रिजल्ट आ जाता है. सो बेसिकली इट इज़ सूटेड फॉर द वेल रूरल एंड ट्राइबल एरियाज given minimal infrastructure requirement, because we do not have basic infrastructure also in some villages. So for those area this can prove to be really helpful. Now the next topic is Battle of Saragari. Now if I have to summarize this whole topic, then I'll say, if you have seen, and if you have not seen, you should see Kesari movie of Akshay Kumar. That battle, the battle which we are going to discuss now, that is the basis of that movie. Okay, now September 12 marks 124th anniversary of Battle of Saragari. The Battle of Saragari was fought on 12 September 1897, and it is considered one of the finest last stands in the military history of the world. So it has such a big place in the world history. Now what was this battle all about? There were only 21 soldiers, basically in the British army. They were sick, they were in the British army, and they were pitted against 8,000 Afridi and Orakzai tribals. And still 21 people standing against 8,000 people, they still managed to hold the fort for 7 hours straight. It's such a big thing. If you would have seen the movie, you will be smitten by the valor that they showed. Though heavily outnumbered, the soldiers of 36th Sikh Platoon, and they were led by Havildar Ishar Singh, fought till the last breath, killing 200 tribal and injuring about 600 of them. Now, Saragari was a communication tower between Fort Lockhart and Fort Gulistan. Okay, so it was a tri-junction basically, and Saragari was a communication point between them. The two fort in the rugged northwest frontier province, which is now in Pakistan, both of them were built by Maharaja Ranjit Singh, but they were renamed by the Britishers, as they do, claiming everything theirs while doing nothing. Now, the next topic is Quad, a very important topic. Now remember, always remember, whenever you are studying about an organization and institution, the countries which are involved in it, you remember, if you remember the 2020 prelims paper, you would be knowing that they directly asked of which of the following countries constitute part of the G20. Okay, it's a very basic question. G20, we study about it every now and then. The Hindu, it always criticizes, or it brings G20 in between about how it can be important or what it is meant to do, but it's not doing. Okay, but every now and then the newspaper is not publishing all the 20 names, and even if it's publishing, you can't remember it, but you have to remember it because UPSC can ask anything. Okay, so now Quad, remember that there are 4 countries in Quad. Which are those countries? We'll talk now. Now basically, why is Quad in news currently? US President Joe Biden, he'll be hosting the first in-person meeting of Quad countries. Now why is it saying first in person? As we know that after COVID happened, all the meetings were happening virtually, and after Trump has been removed from the seat, now Joe Biden is the president of United States, so he'll be hosting the first in-person meeting of Quad countries on September 24th. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison, and Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga will be present at the meeting. As the meeting is going on currently, our president has visited United States of America. What is going to be the focus of the meeting? Issues related to COVID-19 crisis, climate change, cyberspace, and security in the Indo-Pacific region. Now, the quadrilateral security dialogue includes Japan, India, United States, and Australia. Here you can see the map of all the 4 respective countries. This is our India. Okay. Now, all 4 nations find a common ground of being the democratic nation. All the 4 countries are democratic nations, and their interests are also common to an extent, because they want to promote maritime trade and security, especially in the Indo-Pacific region. Quad is an opportunity for like-minded countries to share notes and collaborate on projects of mutual interest. Projects that serve the mutual interests of all the four countries. Members share a vision of an open and free Indo-Pacific. Each is involved in development and economic projects as well as in promoting maritime domain awareness and maritime security. Okay, it is one of many avenues for interaction among India, Australia, Japan, US, and should not be seen in an exclusive context. Now, remember one thing, very important thing about Quad is that Quad is not institutionalized. It is not a formal meet. It's informal. Okay, Quad is an informal grouping. It's still not a formal grouping. Now, the next topic is hydrogen fuel. Why is hydrogen fuel in news? Basically, हुआ ये है that Ministry of Railway has decided to close the Indian Railway Organization for alternate fuels with effect from 7 September 2021. You don't need to remember the date, okay? And all the work related to hydrogen fuel cell, including all the tenders, they'll be transferred to the Northern Railways. आपको बस ये याद रखना है कि ये जो सारा काम है हाइड्रोजन फ्यूल सेल्स का और सारे टेंडर्स का, वो किसे ट्रांसफर करा जा रहा है? कौन सी रेलवेज को? नॉर्दर्न रेलवेज को. Now, the most important thing that we need to know is about hydrogen. You would have studied about it on number of occasions, but let's study once more. Hydrogen is the lightest and first element on the periodic table. Since the weight of the hydrogen is less than air, जब हाइड्रोजन का वजन जो है वो एयर से कम होता है तो क्या होगा? दैट इट विल राइज इन द एटमॉस्फेयर एंड देयरफॉर इट इज रेयरली फाउंड इन इट्स प्योर फॉर्म H2. At standard temperature, if we talk about the standard temperature and pressure, तो हाइड्रोजन एक नॉन टॉक्सिक, नॉन मेटेलिक, odorless, tasteless, colorless gas hai, and it is highly combustible diatomic gas. Now, how do you remember that it is highly combustible diatomic gas? Because we are seeing it as an alternate fuel. तो अगर ये property आ जाती है, अगर ये आ जाता है that at standard temperature and pressure, hydrogen is non-toxic, non-metallic, odorless, tasteless, colorless, and non-combustible diatomic gas. So that will be wrong. Okay, it is a highly combustible diatomic gas. Hydrogen fuel is a zero emission fuel burned with oxygen. It can be used in fuel cell or internal combustion engine. It is also used as a fuel for spacecraft propulsion. Now remember that hydrogen is seen as a future spacecraft fuel. Okay. Now we are going to talk about three types of hydrogen. First is grey hydrogen, the second one is blue hydrogen, and the third one is green hydrogen. Now, grey hydrogen, it consists bulk of India's production. Why? It is extracted from the hydrocarbons like fossil fuels and natural gas, and the byproduct in grey hydrogen is carbon dioxide. Now, we talk about blue hydrogen. It is also sourced from fossil fuel. Now, please don't forget कि ब्लू हाइड्रोजन का मतलब ये नहीं है कि इसे आप पानी से ले रहे हैं, ठीक है, ये पानी से मिल रहा है या पानी में जा रहा है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. इट इज सोर्स फ्रॉम फॉसिल फ्यूल्स ओनली. बट हाउ इज इट डिफरेंट फ्रॉम ग्रे हाइड्रोजन? जो ग्रे हाइड्रोजन में बाय प्रोडक्ट होता है, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड जो एमिट होती है, ठीक है, उसे कैप्चर और स्टोर नहीं किया जाता, ठीक है. बट जो ब्लू हाइड्रोजन होती है, इट इज सोर्स फ्रॉम फॉसिल फ्यूल्स एंड द बाय प्रोडक्ट्स आर कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड एंड कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, बट दे आर कैप्चर्ड एंड स्टोर्ड. सो दे आर far better than grey hydrogen, in which the byproduct is gone in the atmosphere. Now the next one is green hydrogen. This is the most superior of them. It is generated from renewable energy, like the name depicts, green hydrogen, like solar and wind. Electricity splits water into hydrogen and oxygen. Water H2O, तो क्या होता है कि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी स्प्लिट कर देती है वाटर को हाइड्रोजन और ऑक्सीजन में. बाय प्रोडक्ट है वाटर एंड वाटर वेपर. Now, what are the government initiative towards hydrogen fuel? If you would have studied this year's 2020-21 budget, economic budget, you would have read that the finance minister has announced National Hydrogen Mission, which aims for generation of hydrogen from green power resources. Green power resources का क्या मतलब हुआ? जो हमारी renewable energy है, basically जैसे हम कहते हैं कि हमारी solar energy. And the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has also disclosed that the draft regulation of National Hydrogen Mission will be finalized by the end of this month and will thereafter proceed for approval of the Union government, because before publishing or before passing through, it has to get the approval of our Union Cabinet. Now, Gaganyaan. We'll talk about what Gaganyaan is, but let's see why is it in news currently. Australia will support India's Gaganyaan mission. How? By tracking it through Cocos Keeling Island. Australia for India will track Gaganyaan थ्रू कोकोस कीलिंग आइलैंड। कोकोस कीलिंग आइलैंड एक बार देख लेते हैं कहाँ है, ये हमारा ऑस्ट्रेलिया है, ठीक है। सो कोकोस आइलैंड इज टू द नॉर्थ वेस्टर्न साइड ऑफ ऑस्ट्रेलिया एंड इट इज इन, it is below, we can say, Indonesia, Malaysia. So remember it, okay. There are blind spots due to which there is a possibility of not receiving signal sources. Now why is Australia going to track it for India? We can also track it, we have those technology. Now what happened is that there are some blind spots, okay. There are some blind spots which this Gaganyaan route is expected to encounter, and when it comes in, in the adjacent side of these blind spots, what happened is there's a possibility that we won't be able to receive signals. But from this position, from Cocos Keeling Island of Australia, these blind spots can be forgotten, okay. So it will help address the issue. Now what is Gaganyaan? It is a mission by ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, to send a 3-member crew to space for a period of 5 to 7 days by 2022. Now this mission was announced by our Prime Minister in 2008 in his Independence Day address to the nation. Now ahead of manned mission से पहले ना ISRO is planning to send 2 unmanned mission, एक नहीं, याद रखना कि 2 unmanned mission भेजना चाह रहा है Gaganyaan to space as a part of the Gaganyaan mission itself, which means that this whole Gaganyaan mission, this comprises of 3 flights, 3 missions to the space. The initial 2 are unmanned and the final one is manned. Okay, the first mission, it was expected to be sent in December 2020, और जो second mission था, it was scheduled for June 2021. But as the unexpected COVID-19 crisis happened, that's why ISRO was not able to send or complete the respective missions on time or send the unmanned mission to the space. Okay, now remember one thing, the Gaganyaan spacecraft will be placed in low Earth orbit. Even the International Space Station, it is placed in the low Earth orbit, याद रखिएगा ये, okay, of 300 to 400 kilometers, and the total program cost is expected to be under 10,000 crore. गगनयान सिग्निफिकेंट क्यों है? इट इज सिग्निफिकेंट बिकॉज इट इज द फर्स्ट इंडिजीनियस मिशन, इंडिया का पहला इंडिजीनियस मिशन है ये, टू सेंड एस्ट्रोनॉट टू स्पेस, एंड इफ इट सक्सीड, इंडिया विल बी द 4th country to have sent a human to space, the other 3 being US, Russia and China. Now tell me one thing, that is this the first time that Indians are going to space? No. Rakesh Sharma, astronaut Rakesh Sharma, Kalpana Chawla, they have been to space. They were Indians and they have been to space. Okay, but India will become the 4th country if we are able to send these 3 astronauts to space after US, Russia and China. ISRO is developing the spacecraft itself, and Russia is helping in training the astronauts. Okay, now the next is exercise Peaceful Mission. The exercise is conducted biannually. What do you mean by biannually? देखिए, biannually का मतलब होता है 1 साल में 2 बार, and biannually means 2 साल में 1 बार. Okay, once in 2 years. Under the military diplomacy between the Shanghai Cooperation Organization member state. SCO is really important and especially important because of the deteriorating diplomatic and regional tensions of India and between India and China. SCO Peaceful Mission is a multilateral and joint counter-terrorism exercise. SCO currently comprises of 8 member state. 8 member state है. सबसे पहले हम alphabetically start करें. China, India, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Pakistan, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. Okay, now here there are 8 members of SCO. Okay, now the next is Collective Security Treaty Organization. The Collective Security Treaty Organization is planning to hold large military drills in Tajikistan next month amid what is described as a deteriorating situation in neighboring Afghanistan. Now ये जो Collective Security Treaty Organization है, ये कहाँ पर military drill hold कर रही है? तजिकिस्तान में. बट ये कलेक्टिव सिक्योरिटी ट्रीटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन क्या है, पहले ये पढ़ लेते हैं. इट बिगैन आउट ऑफ द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ कॉमनवेल्थ ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट. व्हाट आर कॉमनवेल्थ ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट? द स्टेट विच वर फॉर्मरली अंडर द ब्रिटिश रूल, एंड इनिशियली वॉज द कलेक्टिव सिक्योरिटी ट्रीटी. इट वॉज initially called the Collective Security Treaty, but later on it changed to Commonwealth of Independent State. It was signed on 15th May 1992 by Armenia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan in the city of Tashkent. Okay. Now हमें बस इतना जानना है इस वक्त कि करंटली जो है इसमें कौन कौन मेंबर है. करंटली मेंबर है इसमें आर्मेनिया, बेलारूस, कजाकिस्तान, किर्गिस्तान एंड रशियन फेडरेशन एंड दी तजिकिस्तान. रशियन फेडरेशन इसका मतलब इसमें सबसे ज़्यादा इन्फ्लुएंशियल है. And CSTO, it's an observer organization of United Nations General Assembly, UNGA. Okay, now AU-KUS alliance. What is this alliance? The UK, US and Australia have announced a historic security pact in the Asia Pacific in what's seen as an effort to counter China. It is called the AUKUS Pact or the AUKUS Alliance. Now remember, यहाँ पर हम ये हमारा कहना है कि it's an effort to counter China, which it might be, but US President Joe Biden has straight away declined कि ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. ठीक है. Now first of all, it's a trilateral security alliance. Trilateral means something which happens between three parties. Okay, three parties, three countries, three people. It will be named as trilateral. So it's a trilateral security alliance of USA, United Kingdom and Australia, and it will focus on advancing strategic interest in the Indo-Pacific region. Now, what is its official mandate? Grouping said that the AUKUS partnership will work to protect our people and support a peaceful and rule-based international order. Nuclear-powered submarine to Australia. Now, this is really important because under the AUKUS grouping, it has been decided to share nuclear submarine technology with Australia. And it is done. The aim behind this move is to enhance the nuclear capability of Australia in the Indo-Pacific region. And before this, there has been only once when USA has shared its nuclear submarine defense technology with a country, and that is with Great Britain during the 1958. This makes it a very significant step in terms of upping the ante in the Indo-Pacific region. Now remember that Australia, when this technology will be transferred, Australia will join the allied group of 6 countries that operate nuclear powered submarine. और ये जो 6 countries है ना, इसमें हमारा इंडिया भी है. What and who are those 6 countries? India, United States of course, United Kingdom, France, Russia and China. These are the 6 countries currently that operate nuclear power submarine, and it has a technology. Okay, now the next one is green bond. As we know that green bond means something related to, to the environment, to the security of the environment, to provide environment with the sufficient endeavors to develop itself. Green bond, Power Finance Corporation Limited, the leading NBFC in power sector, non-banking finance company in the power sector, has successfully issued its first ever Euro Green Bonds. Okay. फर्स्ट एवर यूरो ग्रीन बॉन्ड्स का मतलब है कि ग्रीन बॉन्ड जो कि यूरो में डिनोमिनेटेड हो. नाउ व्हाट आर द ग्रीन बॉन्ड्स? कि देखिए एक टाइप के फिक्स्ड इनकम इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स होते हैं. रिमेंबर दैट दे आर नॉट वेरिएबल इनकम इंस्ट्रूमेंट, दे आर फिक्स्ड इनकम इंस्ट्रूमेंट, एंड दे आर स्पेशली ईयरमार्क्ड टू रेज मनी फॉर क्लाइमेट एंड एनवायरमेंटल प्रोजेक्ट्स. Now these bonds are typically asset linked and backed by the issuing entity's balance sheet. Now these bonds they are linked to an asset, और इन्हें बैकिंग कहाँ से मिलती है? जो एंटाइटी ने इशू कर रही है उसकी बैलेंस शीट से. ठीक है. सो दे यूजुअली कैरी द सेम क्रेडिट रेटिंग एज देयर इशूअर अदर डेब्ट ऑब्लिगेशन. ग्रीन बॉन्ड्स में कम विद टैक्स इंसेंटिव्स टू एनहांस द अट्रैक्टिवनेस टू द इन्वेस्टर्स. मतलब इनमें थोड़े बहुत टैक्स इंसेंटिव्स मिलते हैं जिससे ये इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए एक अट्रैक्टिव एवेन्यू हो इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए. World Bank is a major issuer of green bond. It has been issuing these green bonds since 2008, and in 2020 when the whole world was battling COVID-19, World Bank issued green bonds for almost 270 billion according to the climate bond initiative. Sorry, in 2020 the total issuance of green bond, not exclusively of World Bank, but the total issuance of green bond was around almost 270 billion. And it has been set by the Global Climate Bond Initiative. Okay, now what are the main uses of green bond? These are some of them, like renewable energy. When we build houses, we'll build on the basis of energy efficient technologies, clean transportation, and responsible waste management so that we can save our environment from the deteriorating conditions. Now the next one is शून्य कैंपेन. शून्य कैंपेन स्टार्ट किया है आपके नीति आयोग ने और रॉकी माउंटेन इंस्टीट्यूट ने. What is this शून्य campaign? It is an initiative to promote zero pollution delivery vehicles by working with the consumers and the industry. Basically directly कि zero pollution delivery vehicles promote करता है. और अगर हम एक बात करें तो ये एक्सेलरेट करता है अडॉप्शन ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स, जिससे जो हमारी पल्यूटिंग टेक्नोलॉजी है इस वक्त, पल्यूटिंग है कार्स वगैरह, आपके 4 व्हीलर्स हो गए, आपके बड़े बड़े ट्रक वगैरह हो गए, ठीक है. तो ये कहता है कि वी शुड अडॉप्ट इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स इन ऑर्डर टू लोअर द पोल्यूशन लेवल. Now what is the aim? To accelerate the adoption of electric vehicle in the urban delivery segment and create consumer awareness about the benefits of zero pollution delivery. As part of the campaign, a corporate branding and certification program is being launched to recognize and promote the industry effort toward the transition to electric vehicle for the final mile deliveries. सिर्फ इतना ही नहीं, एक ऑनलाइन ट्रैकिंग प्लेटफॉर्म भी बनाया जाएगा जो इस कैंपेन के इम्पैक्ट को असेस करेगा और शो करेगा, ठीक है. अब देखते हैं शून्य कैंपेन जो है, ये एक छोटा सा आर्टिकल है, पढ़ते हैं ये इसके बारे में. इमेजिन सिटीज विद क्लियर स्काइज एंड क्लीन एयर फॉर एवरीवन वेयर यू कैन बाय गुड्स विदाउट कंट्रीब्यूटिंग टू एयर पोल्यूशन. नाउ what do you mean by you can buy goods without contributing to air pollution? For example, you buy anything, it has a carbon footprint. And even if you are going to a shop to buy a good, you are creating environment pollution. How? You are going by your scooty, you are going by your vehicle, your scooter, your car. You are contributing to the environment pollution by the fumes that are emitted by your vehicle. Okay. The Shunya campaign is an initiative that brings together consumer and industry to reduce emission from the urban fleet sector by promoting the use of electric vehicles. This campaign is hosted by Niti Aayog and RMI in collaboration with leading industry partner, and this initiative will raise awareness about electric vehicles among consumers and recognizes industry effort through an integrated combination of corporate branding, impact assessment and consumer awareness, which means that it works in a lot of dimensions. Okay, now the next one is Parker Solar Probe. Now before I start with this Parker Solar Probe, let me tell you one thing, that UPSC is very much fascinated by these spacecraft and everything. In 2020 prelims, in 2017 prelims, there have been back-to-back questions from Evolved LISA, okay, which makes it really important that we know what are the space programs that are going on, what are the spaceships and everything. Now let's get started. Scientists using data from NASA's Solar Probe have assembled the most complete picture yet of the inner structure and behavior of the large cloud of space dust known as the zodiacal cloud that swirls throughout the solar system. Now first let us see what are these zodiacal clouds. यहाँ पे देखिए एक पिक्चर डिपिक्ट कर रही है कि zodiacal clouds का रिफ्लेक्शन या वो कैसे लगते हैं, ठीक है. The sources of zodiacal clouds interplanetary dust particle include at least asteroid collisions, cometary activity and collision in inner solar system, cupular belt collision and interstellar medium grains. Now what happens is when structure collides, they split into fine particles. So this is the source of zodiacal clouds, which is interplanetary dust particles. Okay, and what happens is when light falls in particles, it scatters sunlight in a way that it can be seen with naked eyes, मतलब बिना किसी इक्विपमेंट के, but only on very dark, मतलब कि हमारी अर्थ से, हमारी पोजीशन से तभी ऑब्जर्वेबल होती है when it is very dark and clear night, as moonlight or light from cities both easily outshine it. It is thickest near the sun, सबसे ज़्यादा जो ब्रॉड होती है ये सन के पास होती है, and it is thinnest, जैसे जैसे दूर जाती है वैसे वैसे ही थिन होती जाती है एज पे. The zodiacal cloud looks smooth to the naked eyes, but infrared wavelength reveal bright streak and ribbons that can be traced back to their sources, that is comet and asteroids. Okay, now they found 3 dust population in the cloud. 3 dust population है इस zodiacal cloud में. सबसे पहले जो है, most of the grains are being slowly pulled in towards the sun, and that is alpha meteoroids. The second population is generated as grain in swirling cloud collide. जब swirl करते हुए cloud जो है collide करते हैं तब second population आपकी dust particle की generate होती है, creating fragment so that they are pushed out of the solar system in all directions by pressure from the sunlight. Now the third group, it probably creates when a tube of cometary debris collides with grains from the first two populations is scattered out in a distinctive wedge shape. Okay. Now let's study something about Parker Solar Probe. This is the picture we have taken from NASA official website of Parker Solar Probe. Okay, this solar probe will revolutionize our understanding of the sun. This is basically a sun-related mission where changing condition can propagate out into the solar system, affecting Earth and other worlds. Now this mission studies about sun and the impact it creates basically on Earth and the solar system. Okay, this probe will travel through the sun's atmosphere closer to the surface than any spacecraft before it, facing mutual heat and radiation condition. In order to unlock the mystery of the sun's atmosphere, पार्कर सोलार प्रोब विल यूज वीनस ग्रेविटी. तो अगर आपसे पूछ लिया जाए, अगर आपसे ये कह दिया जाए कि क्या पार्कर सोलार प्रोब मर्करी की ग्रेविटी यूज करेगा अपनी 7 फ्लाईबाइज टेन्योर के लिए? नहीं, इट विल बी वीनस ग्रेविटी दैट पार्कर सोलार प्रोब इज गोइंग टू यूज while coming closer to the orbit of the sun. And remember that this is the only spacecraft that has gone through too close to the sun. Okay, so अगर ये आपसे पूछ लिया जाए that which spacecraft have been the closest to the sun yet, then it is Parker Solar Probe. Okay, now the next one is Humboldt penguins. We know about Humboldt current. It is, in the Peru area. Okay, now last week Mumbai's Byculla Zoo announced the addition of 2 new Humboldt penguin chicks this year. Now we know that Mumbai Byculla Zoo already has these penguins, but they are adding 2 more. Okay, now these penguins have an average height of 2 feet, and the tallest, the largest of these penguins are emperor penguins. Their height is around 4 feet tall. The penguins belong to a genus that is commonly known as banded group. They are basically divided into 6 genera. Okay, and Humboldt penguins are endemic. They are found in the Pacific coast of Chile and Peru, where this cold Humboldt current is found. Okay, they are so named, इनका नाम ऐसे पड़ा है because their habitat is closer to the Humboldt current, a large oceanic upwelling characterized by cold waters. This current is related to El Nino, La Nina phenomena, if you remember. Okay, and the most important of all, what is its IUCN status? It is vulnerable in the IUCN red list. Now the last topic for today is IPO gray market. IPO stand for initial public offering. Okay, now first let us see what is IPO, then we'll talk about this gray market. Initial public offering क्या होती है? It is selling of securities to the public in प्राइमरी मार्केट. ओके, प्राइमरी मार्केट में जब कोई भी कंपनी अपनी सिक्योरिटी सेल करती है. अब प्राइमरी मार्केट क्या होता है? प्राइमरी मार्केट डील करता है नई सिक्योरिटीज के साथ विच आर बीइंग इशूड फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम. इट इज ऑल्सो नोन एज द न्यू इशू मार्केट. इट इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम सेकेंडरी मार्केट. ये सेकेंडरी मार्केट से डिफरेंट होता है बिकॉज what happens in secondary market is the companies who have already issued securities are issuing fresh securities. But what happens in primary market is unlisted companies that are not listed on stock exchange yet are going to get listed in the primary market, okay, to sell their securities in order to expand their business or for various reasons. Okay, so this is what is meant by initial public offering, primary market, secondary market. Okay, and it is generally used by new and medium enterprises firms that are looking for funds to grow and expand their business. Now, what is grey market? IPO grey market. Now, IPO grey market is one where a company shares are bid, जहाँ पे कंपनी के शेयर्स की बिडिंग लगती है and they are offered by traders unofficially. This takes place before the share are even issued to the company in an initial public offering. इसे आप ऐसे समझिए that someone who's close to you is selling some property or something, okay, and they have decided that they'll give you a part of it before they'll put their rates in the market. Okay, now this is the same thing that it happens unofficially, it happens unofficially, and when it happens unofficially. So in case of any fraud or anything, the Securities and Exchange Board of India, which is, which regulates the security market in our country, it can do nothing. It can bring no relief to you, because this is an unofficial market. You are at your own. Okay. But grey market is not even illegal, it's just unofficial. You will have no remedy in case of a fraud, and the SEBI, the regulator, doesn't regulate this either. Now let's look at the difference between white market, black market and grey market. White market is open market, and all trading takes place according to rules and regulations. So this is acceptable and this is official. Black market, as the name suggests, this is an illegal market, and goods that are traded here are smuggled into the country. Now what is grey market? It's a parallel market. As we discussed, it's an official market and parallel market. Deals take place in unofficial distribution channel. Okay, deals takes place in unofficial distribution channel. So this is all about today. I hope you like the video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll meet in the next one.